What's going on, Taurus? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic month so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Taurus. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. And let me tell you why, Taurus, because it is Celestial News Monthly. If you can't tell, I'm pumped. It's like my favorite time of the month. And you'll see why, especially this one here in a second. But before we get into that, when this monthly spread, whenever the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where all the planets are at and how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Taurus. So Taurus, I have Zodiac Oracle cards here with each of the signs that the planets are in. I'm going to pull an Oracle deck from this deck for each one, and then we'll get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case if you all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below is some links for some other readers that I like watching as well, Taurus. So definitely check that out. Show them some love. I'm just an intuitive bunch, so I think you'll enjoy them. But let's talk about it's Cancer season. And if you don't understand why I'm so excited, my sun signs in Cancer. So it's like if you thought I was bringing big energy before, it's just about to be lit. Just like this whole season. It's been pretty dope so far. But you have the sun that's going to be in Cancer. Then we got Mercury that's going to be entering Cancer. The sun's going to enter on the 21st of June at about 9:58 in the morning. And that'll be Central Time. And then we'll be there through the 22nd of July. And with this energy, Taurus, is beginning the summer solstice. We're getting, depending on what part of the world you're in, we're getting all this sunlight. It's all beautiful. But when you think about all that light, the sun, it reveals, when it's shining light, it's revealing stuff from the shadows. And, Cancer being an emotional sign, this is a great energy for tuning into your emotions. And I feel like for you, Taurus, because you and Cancer have a really cool relationship. Venus feels right at home in our sign, and the moon, our ruler, is exalted in your sign. So after our sign, she loves kicking it with you. So I feel that this could be, because you're a sign of the senses, the five senses, and where I feel like if you can take that Hierophant energy and then couple that with the High Priestess, tune into those emotions and really kind of feel these energies, because I feel like you're a sign that's already very present compared to the other signs, having such acute senses. But then if you're really tuning into those emotions, you'll be an intuitive powerhouse there, Taurus. But also, this is great for focusing on your close relationships, whether that be in the home, whether that be because Cancer deals with the fourth house. This could be in your home. This could deal with friends. This could deal with even like relationships, maybe at work and things, but good for strengthening those bonds if we want to get a little closer there. Or it could be too, because Cancer energy can be very giving. We're the nurturers of the zodiac. And it could be something too where maybe we're drawing up some boundaries as well. And just really kind of pay attention to how your emotions may fluctuate really at this time, and just really be present with them. If there's like a specific one that you find that's difficult to manage, really observe that. Pay attention to the responses, what we're doing, are we flipping tables, whatever that's looking like, Taurus. But There was one more thing I wanted to say on that, but never mind. And then it just ran away. But that's fine, because Mercury's here. And Mercury's going to enter about 5 days after the sun on the 26th of June and will be there through the 10th of July. And with this energy, this is great for strengthening your bonds with yourself and with others, like I was saying earlier. And this is a great energy, too, for really bringing that head and mind together, strengthening that bond. Because when you think about Mercury, Mercury's a sign of communication, how we think, our our thought process, all things along those lines. And so it's very I feel like the archetype for this energy is very kind of king and kind of queen of cups, really getting that emotional understanding and wisdom. But then this also is about thinking about things on a deeper level and having having a greater ability to process and express your feelings. So, we got all this Leo energy coming up here. Might be a lot of love, a lot of passion here. That could be something if we've been, because there's been a little bit of love floating around in the soul tribe. And this could be something where, too, if we've been thinking about that, expressing your feelings, making them known towards, setting up that first date or whatever that's looking like. And just a little cherry on top here for you, Taurus, depending on where your Taurus placements are at, this is going to be forming a sextile with your signs. And sextiles after trines are very fortunate. They're very fortunate energy, very easy flowing, but the thing is they're kind of passive, not very dynamic. So it's going to be one of those things when an opportunity is presented in front of you. It's sextiles are potential. Either we do something with them or we don't, and they're neither here nor there about it. So I feel like just kind of pay attention to any kind of opportunities that may come up for you, anything along those lines. Because if you follow those energies through, if something in your gut is telling you to check that out, see where it takes you towards. You never know what kind of luck or opportunities, maybe possible collaborations may pop up in the mix. But let's see what energy you're bringing in here. And look at you. We're thinking about our destiny. I'm with it. You got the 8th card of Geminis here, which is the Wheel of Karma. And with this card, this is a card of karma, dharma, destined, inevitable, cause and effect, divine intervention, cycles, there's that luck, fortune even, rise and fall, circumstances, consequences, divine will, and blind justice. And I almost feel like with this energy, Taurus, the first thing that kind of popped out is the divine intervention. And I feel like that might partway be with what's getting ready to happen with this Leo energies, that possibly you might have noticed some challenges here as of late. And I feel that maybe for some of you, if you're not feeling this, if you find yourself in a situation where things feel kind of out of your control at the moment, I feel that those are definitely examples of the square situation, which we're going to talk about next. But I feel that sometimes, when with all this change that's going down right now, and in which change is inevitable, I do feel like that with all this stuff going down, it can feel like a lot of things are out of our control at the moment. But I do feel like the nice thing about this, Taurus, and speaking of changes, we're going to move you up on the line here, Taurus. But I do feel like with these circumstances that may be going down or that could potentially go down in the future, because they always happen in the end. The nice thing is that we can control how we feel about a situation and how we react to it. You know what I mean? We could either get caught up in the storm, which is totally understandable, that when we get that initial shock or whatever may happen, it's kind of hard to anticipate how the universe will throw a curveball at you. But once we recognize that we are in a new type of cycle here and that there is divine intervention going at work, higher self always got your back. It's not going to throw you into a situation that you can't handle or that's not meant for your growth, Taurus. But I do feel that when we can learn to become more proactive than reactive with these energies here, we can get a lot more abundance that is going down here. And I feel like it's part way too. Really, when you think about Gemini energy, that's how we think and it's how we communicate. So be mindful where your thoughts are at. What are we telling ourselves? And if we find ourselves kind of caught up in a narrative or something along those lines, just understand that, again, that, just like how I was saying with the moon being exalted in your sign, yours is one that could, I feel like has an understanding of how life can wax and wane. But I feel like the more that we go through these experiences and the more that because here's the thing, it's like we've been going through different levels of Wheel of Karma throughout our entire journey so far, Taurus. It's just that as we level up, so do the problems, but so does the abundance. But It's recognizing those waxing and waning. And when that energy does start to wane, it's just like, how can we set up, when the energy is getting strong, how can we set up enough security, which is something about your sign, how do we set up that foundation so that the drop isn't as hard, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, yeah, it still might be a little tough, but it's like, at least we kind of have some kind of cushion there, Taurus. So that might be something to think about, you know. I like that with the cause and effect. So let's get some tarot on this. All right, Taurus, let's see what we have here. Ooh, that's all right. Little reversal storm, but that's fine. Because you got the King of Wands, the Death Rebirth card in reverse, and then we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. And so, I feel like with this energy, Taurus, again, when we do find ourselves in a situation where it does feel like things are getting out of hand, I feel like this energy here is almost saying because the Two of Pentacles is Jupiter and Capricorn. And I feel like when life throws you into what may seem like an adverse situation at first, it's thinking about how can we turn that into our advantage with the King of Wands? You know, what can our game plan be? Because this is going to bring about some type of change. And, you know, if we resist this situation, it's just going to make things a lot harder. You know what I mean? And I feel that with the Two of Pentacles, it's finding out how we can balance out these situations so that we can get the most abundance out of this, when life really throws us some type of challenges here. You know, it feels like it's like making that connection with which is, I feel like, is very appropriate for you, which is like, it's making that connection with like the material and the spiritual world, and really tapping into like your Hierophant energy to bring about really the most growth out of this situation here. But let me get a little bit more on this Two of Pentacles here, Taurus, because it feels like if we can just get it's almost like it's like when change is coming, it's just like, yeah, how do we go about resisting that? Let me get a little bit more on this Two of Pentacles, Taurus. And speaking of Capricorn, okay, let's see. A lot of Capricorn energy here. Okay, so the Two of Pentacles is clarified by the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Devil upright. And it almost feels like to me that I feel like that it's like almost with this Devil card, it feels like that there's like a mindset that needs to be let go here. It's just like, I feel like that we may be so focused on keeping things the way that they are with the Four of Pentacles here. You know, we're trying to keep this structure, which I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that per se, but it feels like it almost feels like it is like a resisting the change, like where, like I just had a conversation with someone and we were talking about my incredible internet skills, which are not existent. And you know, they were talking about, you know, me being stubborn, and it's just like, you got to get up with the times, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I was talking about how dumb Snapchat is and all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't even see that's nature of my problem. But you know, and to a degree, you know, they are right, because like, you know, we are getting into a changing time, and it's like that kind of stubbornness, Taurus. It's like where, you know, it's like, But it almost feels like that it's like we're doing this, we're resisting this stuff, even though that we know that it's like that is going to be good for us in the long run here, Taurus. It's a very interesting energy, and listen, I you know, in certain aspects I do understand that on a deep level, but I do feel like, you know, being aware of, and I don't feel like this is just being like a tip, like, you know, where people say that Taurus is, you know, typically the most stubborn of the zodiac. I think it's just with fixed energy, because I'm a Cancer, but I have a lot of fixed energy in my side. Like over half of my stuff is fixed energy. So I feel like it's like not letting that stubbornness or that resistance to change get in the way of your celebration here. You know, I feel like that we can still keep your ways of operating, but it's just like it's adapting it to the changes. You know what I mean? It's just like figuring out how to make this, where's the compromise? Because where I do agree that change needs to happen, change looks differently for everyone. And it's just like, I feel like there's some type of balance of integrating those two things together. So, what? All right, Taurus, I hope that makes sense. But let's talk about, since we're on this fixed energy here, let's talk about Leo. Because Leo's might be causing some shenanigans in your placements, Taurus. Because you have Mercury. Mercury's going to be busy this season. You have Mercury that's going to be entering Leo, and then Venus entered Leo earlier. And let's talk about your ruler. Because Venus entered Taurus, oh, excuse me, wouldn't that be nice? I like that. That was a great little time. But Venus is going to enter Leo on the 5th of June and will be there through the through the 8th of October. Yeah, your ruler's going to be hanging out in Leo for a while. She's going to be going retrograde in Leo season next month. So settle in there, Taurus, but we'll work with these energies. But with Venus being in Leo, this can really you might feel a little more extroverted than normal, Taurus, because Leo energy is very bright, very big energy, very much just like, look at me. That's, you know, they can't help it. They're ruled by the sun. You know, the sun loves to be seen. But this is great energy too for strengthening your self-confidence and showing yourself some self-love too, and even pursuing yourself some love, like I was saying, because, you know, Leo is very passionate energy, very, very creative. You know, they deal with the 5th house, and, you know, the 5th house, you know, when they talk about creativity, you know, one of the greatest creations, creating a child. So if we're looking for babies, you know, this could be a great season for you, especially where your ruler's at. But if not, you know, let's just be a little mindful there, Taurus. But also, we want to also be aware of any like drama or anything along those lines, Taurus, just because Leo can be a bit on the over dramatic side, on the more unbalanced scale. So just something to pay attention to is there as well. But then you also have Mercury entering Leo on the 11th of July and will be there through the 28th of July. And with this, communication is going to be a little more straightforward, you know, and you can expect a lot of jokes and laughter, just because, you know, with that creative mind that they have, they are great storytellers, very funny energy, just real, you know, just very, just fun. So expect a lot of good times, I feel, Taurus, or let's create create moments of good times. But this can be also a great energy for putting yourself out there, because now you're kind of, your mind is a little more bold and a little more, you know, Leos also, you know, embody leadership, you know, being the kings of the zodiac. So it's just like, this could be a great thing if we were thinking about going for like a promotion, or if we even wanted to start like our own business, or maybe even doing like a public speaking, social media. Maybe you've been writing a book, or maybe doing some music, or just putting your art and your creative energy out there, because like I was saying, Leo is very creative, and so with Mercury being Leo as well, your mind is going to be just everything is just in technicolor. You know, it's really beautiful. I had a Mercury in Leo, so it's a pretty dope placement. But the thing, the one minus with this energy, Taurus, is that depending on where your Taurus placements are at, this is going to be forming a square with your sign. And that's where I was kind of talking about with the divine intervention, because it can feel like that things are just kind of like happening, it's just one of those life things that happen. You know, squares to me are like, for example, your tires get all messed up. You know, you get a flat or something, and then it's going to take, like, I don't know why it would take a week, but it's going to take a week for them to get changed. Well, they find out your tire's flat, and then there's like 12 other things with it, and they got to keep it for a while. And then in that point, you got to figure out, okay, how we're going to commute to our job. If we're commuting to work, do we have public transportation? Does it make sense to get like Lyft all the time? That type of stuff. But where they can bring some challenges, delays, restrictions, and conflicts and things, the silver, like, if we can find the abundance in there, is that they teach you that you can be resourceful when situations, when life happens. It shows how resilient you are and how secure you are. And then, if anything, if there were areas that we were noticing that we were feeling kind of light in, or not feeling as strong in, it shines some light on that so that we can get a game plan and focus on getting that area stable for yourself, Taurus. So it really is kind of like a blessing in disguise. We just got to look for it sometimes. But let's get get an oracle on this. Oh, all right, I'm with it. Interesting. So you got the 8th card of Aquarius here, which is the fishhook card. And with this card, this is a card of powerless, feeling helpless, paralyzed, vulnerable, trap, temptation, bait, con game, great catch, luck, prosperity, resourcefulness, abundance, and multiplication principle. And you see that's pretty much how a square is. It starts off where you feel kind of powerless, where it feels like just like you get all frustrated. It's just like you can feel that it's just like, life is just kind of happening to you. And it's just like, what the hell is going on here? I'll tell you what's happening. We're getting ready to manifest some abundance. We're getting ready to get into like our Queen of Pentacles type of energy. And, maybe get resourceful. Maybe this is something where, if this is like a work thing, for example, maybe we're partnering up with a friend, maybe doing like carpooling, and then you throw them a little cash. Look at that. You've lightened their load for gas. You got yourself a ride. It's just like, and then look at that. You might even strengthen your bond with this friend here. Look at that. Abundance, and see how we kind of had to stretch to look for it, but it's there, it's just realizing that these energies are not meant to keep you in a state of feeling vulnerable, If we stay in that mindset, if we get fixated on just the powerlessness of it, then that is what is going to keep repeating, Taurus, and that's going to keep being present. But when we've acknowledged that, okay, this thing has happened, not crazy about it, what am I going to do about it? And let's say, what action am I going to take? It's just like, because even when I said that, thinking about Queen of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. She rules first 2 dings of Capricorn and the last of Sagittarius. And there's going, and here's Sagittarius. There's going to be some growth that's going to come from this, but Capricorn, they're the achievers of the zodiac, but it's being Saturn ruled. I'm always telling them it's a slow burn for them, but it's one that it's going to lead to mad abundance. And you put in that work, Saturn can reward just as much as Jupiter does. But I also feel like with this, Taurus, I know you know this, but just a little sidebar just kind of popped in my head. Just be aware, and not that I feel like people are going to be out to get you or anything, but be aware of any sort of like cons or anything. If something seems too good to be true, like where I was talking about with like the sextile situations and things, and you also got something with the trine, which we're going to talk about when we get to Capricorn, and actually next time when we get to Virgo. But if we do notice an opportunity that does seem a little easy, not to say that it's not, but I say like just make sure that we are doing our research first, I feel like, before we just kind of jump into some things, Because I've been getting like, just like random texts from just like, I just got one the other day. It's just like, hey, Annie, or hey, this is Annie, this is your friend Mark. And it's just like, well, I can't remember the last time I was under the alias Annie, but you know what I mean, Taurus? Just little things like that, email stuff, random things along those lines. But one more thing, there's something here about the temptations, well, we do have the devil here, so I guess that's not too surprising. But be aware of, just any type of vices, Taurus. I feel like if there's anything that if you feel that something has gotten like where you feel kind of like on the hook, you know, where it feels like it has like a lot of control on you. You can even see here, this devil's got a person here on some marionette strings. I feel like, yeah, if you have a relationship with something that doesn't feel harmonious, or that is just like, that's no longer serving you a purpose, or if you've noticed that something you have been working on, if you've been feeling kind of tempted, I feel like there's something saying, it's like reminding you that these temptations that come around, let's say this, for example, if you quit drinking and then we went to like went to maybe like a game night or something, and then they just happen to like, who wants some champagne or something like that. You know, the devil has a very unorthodox way of promoting growth, but these temptations are just to remind, like the devil asking you, hey, I know you were working on this thing. You feeling good? This is another scenario that you might be in where we might need to be strong, where we need to put in some initiative here. You feeling good with that? And if you do still feel like it's something that you need, or you feel helpless about it, just getting some eyes on that, you know, and maybe this is something where we need to put in a little extra work, you know, maybe voice it to others, like if this is a drinking thing, for example, just be like, hey, you know, would you mind if we didn't do this around me? Maybe we could do, or maybe have like maybe like a non-alcoholic beverage on the side, you know, maybe like one of those beers, or I even saw one like an ad or something where it was like this, like, what they call it, don't whine or something like that. It was one of those YouTube commercials, but even something along those lines, Taurus. Oh, I'm about to get another oracle card. Let me get some tarot on this. All right, let's see what we got here, Taurus. Interesting. All right, I'm with it. So you got the King of Swords, the Judgment card, and the Ten of Swords upright here. And then you have the Ten of Wands in reverse. And I feel like with this Ten of Wands here, just how I was talking about with this, that temptation, or, yeah, this something just has you feeling powerless, or if it's starting to become where it's really kind of weighing you down. I feel like with this Judgment, Ten of Wands, it's just like, how can we release this burden and start really, really getting into applying the wisdom from this situation, you know, to reap the rewards of putting in this work, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that for some of us, maybe if we find ourselves, if we were working, it almost feels here like with this Ten of Swords that maybe there was a point where for some of you, just kind of getting into that devil situation, this doesn't have to be just like a vice, like a drug, sex, alcohol thing. This could be maybe like a low self-esteem thing. This could be, maybe this is like a relationship type thing. You know, maybe this could be, because Four of Wands can deal with relationships. Maybe this is like a long-term thing, or maybe this is like a marriage, something along those lines. But if there's something here that has been, I just really feel like this really gets you, maybe for some of us, if we've been feeling at a real kind of low place, or if we find ourselves in a low place in the future, I feel that it almost feels like it's like, what can we do to, again, yeah, to alleviate some of this burdens, whether it be, maybe we're taking going like on like a vacation or something along those lines. I like that this Death card here has got like some woods in this person's mask. I feel like maybe it's getting out and, yeah, just like going out to the nature, or maybe like how King of Swords is doing, going to the mountains, or this could be even something that's like even just like doing just like some self-care routines or something along those lines. But let me get a little bit more on this Ten of Swords. Oh, there's your ruler. Okay. So you got the Ten of Swords is clarified by the Empress and the Hermit. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what I was kind of getting at here. It feels like that maybe for some of us, maybe if we're going through, it almost feels like that maybe if we've been in this place where maybe we've been kind of keeping our feelings bottled up, or maybe there's something here just like, again, if this is like a relationship, or if this is just like some sort of repressed something, Taurus, it almost, it feels like that there's something that maybe, yeah, we've been keeping just kind of deep down, and that's been wanting to get some air, I feel like, with this Judgment card here. And I feel like when we start working towards that process, once we acknowledge that place of this deep, dark, like just whatever this deep thing that I'm kind of feeling here, I feel like that's where the real healing can start, where we can really start noticing some growth. But, with the Empress, I feel like especially with your ruler Venus being in Leo for these next few months, I feel like that this is going to be something where there probably are going to be some challenges here, but it's just like while we're going through these processes, where it's like maybe there's some things like there may be some like relationship things that go down, or maybe and this could be relationships with people, maybe with our finances, with ourselves, whatever that is. I feel like it's finding a way to maybe express that stuff if maybe we've been keeping some kind of things bottled up. Because when you think about even like with like musicians, and you're a creative sign, Taurus, being Venus ruled, because Venus is about art and beauty, and one of the aspects that she's about. And I feel like that if we are able to maybe find an alternative outlet maybe to express these devil moments, or this wanting for, because you got some strong change stuff here too, now that I'm even seeing that with the Death card and the Judgment card here, because the Judgment is Pluto, Death is Scorpio, and that's one of Scorpio's rulers. And you know what? Just even saying that, Venus is in detriment in Scorpio. And I feel that there's something here, just like if the change hasn't been going well, yeah, finding like, I'm all over the place. Because like when I was talking about that creative outlet, when you think about musicians sometimes, when they go to, or artists in general, they find that a lot of, and this could be something great too when we're thinking even about Cancer season, to take all those feelings and emotions, when they express that stuff, like, when you listen to like when you're a song, when you're in like a sad mood or something, and it's evoking those feelings, like someone that you feel like someone is like understands what you're going through and that it's resonating with you and all of that. I feel like creating just like more good resonance for yourself, to even just like if we've been having trouble acknowledging these things, if we can put it maybe in like an artistic outlet, it might make it easier to face here, Taurus. But all right, I think I'm getting into deeper territories here, so I'm gonna move on from that, Taurus. But I hope that you understood where I was kind of going with that. It's interesting, and the energies has been kind of intense here as of late. It's been an adjustment for sure. But let's talk again. You've probably been feeling an adjustment here too, Taurus. Hopefully you've been feeling abundant, because let's talk about your sign. Because you got Jupiter in Taurus, and then you have that Uranus is going to be in Taurus for a couple more years. Now Jupiter will be in Taurus until about May 25th of 2024 next year. And with Jupiter being in Taurus, this is focusing on those areas, excuse me, where you're not feeling secure, and how we can get, and even, well, first focusing on areas where that are in need of some growth, and then finding out and getting that into a routine to make that long term. Because the Hermit here, this is Virgo energy, and I feel that with this energy, if we were able to, or what Jupiter's trying to get us at is, one, to build that long-term security wherever we feel weak, and then really thinking about just like the future in general. It's very kind of like Ten of Pentacles type of energy. It's just like, what type of legacy do you want to leave behind, you know, because where Jupiter is a planet of just like a mad abundance, being in your sign, that abundance is kind of slowing down a little bit, but that's nice because it's like Two of Pentacles all day. You know, how can we get this, you know, just whether this be like maybe some, like when we're talking about those artistic endeavors, maybe we can take that healing and then maybe even make a little side hustle on the side. You know, maybe we're selling our artwork for some galleries, or maybe we're putting our music out there on like YouTube or SoundCloud or something like that. Maybe we're making some woodworking stuff again, but you know, whatever that's looking like. It's looking for those type of long-term things so that you can feel just more stable in your, and feel more confident in your, with where you're going at on your journey, and be more comfortable with your growth, and doing that research too, because maybe this is something too, if we're like, you know, with it being in Cancer season right now, maybe we might be thinking about stuff in like with the home. You know, do we feel like we like where we're living right now? Is this something where we see ourselves in like the next, you know, maybe couple of years or something along those lines? Just, you know, gives you a lot to think about there. But then also you got Uranus that's in your sign for a couple more years. It's going to be in your sign until right before the day for my birthday, July 7th in 2025. But with Uranus still kind of wrapping up here in Taurus, you know, Uranus is the planet of revolution, excuse me, in the sign of change, the planet of change and going into the future. And I mean, it's been just a roller coaster these last 5 years or so. I mean, with how, I mean, all the jobs, a lot of jobs are going more remote now to, you know, everything that happened with COVID and things, and just like all this stuff, you know, there's all this. I was just talking with someone just the other day, we were talking about food, you know, and like how, you know, maybe investing in more kind of like beans and rice and things, you know, things that like, that can last. And not that I feel like there's, not that I necessarily, I'd have to look more into that, but I don't feel like there's any some sort of like weird food things going on at, you know, at the moment. So, you know, but I feel like that is just getting to thinking about that stuff. You know, that the prices are rising with food and stuff like that. So just thinking about maybe buying more just kind of in bulk and that type of stuff. That's where we were kind of talking about. But that's where Uranus and Taurus is trying to get us thinking, you know, just thinking about how, since the times are changing, how can we start changing? Because, you know, and like it's like how we were talking earlier, where it feels like where it's like we may want things to stay the same, you know, like the good old days, but it's especially too, because they're not even just Pluto. A lot of the Pluto's starting the work right now, but we're going to see some real, I feel like, significant change over this next year, but especially I feel like in 2025, when we're going to have some more outer planets that are moving. It's going to be an interesting time. I feel like an abundant time if we work with the energies, but, you know, we got to work with the change here, Taurus. But also, the nice thing about this energy, though, or it'll be interesting, because depending on where your Taurus placements are at, Jupiter and Uranus will be forming a conjunction with your sign. And conjunctions are interesting because it's like it's like the energies are trying to blend together as one. It's like it's almost like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's just like, you know, that there's a change. Like, it'd be one of those things where you wake up, or you just like noticing that you're kind of operating differently. You know, it's just like maybe, for example, when we were talking about with the drinking thing, maybe you wake up and it's just like, you know what, I'm not digging these hangovers anymore. You know, I think I'm gonna kind of cut this stuff out. And then for you, it just seems like a minor change. And then when you go to your friends, they're like, hey, Taurus, you ready to go party? And you're just like, no. And then people are just like, who are you, Taurus? And not that there's a problem or anything, Taurus, like that. But you like, it'll be something along those lines, where there's like, you've noticed that there's a shift, and it's just like you may not be able to put your finger on it, like why the change is happening. Well, a conjunction, but you know, it's something where that energy can provide stress, because it's just like sometimes when we don't know where all this change is coming from, maybe this different perspectives and things, yeah, it can bring about a little anxiety. So just something to get eyes on there. You know, meditate on this stuff. If we start noticing these shifts and things, you know, do some self-care, you know, kind of sit with yourself, maybe do some journaling, something along those lines, to just kind of tap into that and see where the growth is going. But let's get an oracle on this. Oh, interesting. A lot of air energy here, Taurus. You got the ninth card of Geminis here. Huh, well, not funny, but you'll see why in a minute. You got the worry beads card, because we were just talking about anxiety. Because this is a card of worry, fear, anxiety, irritated, calming, soothing, bored, passing time, upset, unease, needs care, fretful, ritual, repetitive motion, de-escalate, and nervous tick. And you know what, Taurus? I feel like, especially with how the Empress and the Hermit popped out, this almost feels like, to me, like if we have been, or if we notice we get in a place in the future where we do start feeling worried about some things, a lot of fears are coming up, anxieties, all those, just a lot of uncomfortable emotions. That's one thing. Two things. One, especially with it being in Cancer season right now, we want to be mindful of like how we take on the energies, because sometimes we can say like, I'm worried, I'm afraid, I'm anxious, and it's just like, you aren't those things. We're experiencing those things right now, and there's a big difference in that. And I feel like if we kind of, especially with all this air energy popping up here, if we can change the narrative there, I feel like that's going to be one way to kind of get you more present in the situation when you're getting caught up in it. You know what I mean? And I also feel like with this, it's when we do realize that, or when we acknowledge this, it's like when we've acknowledged the feeling, say, okay, I'm feeling this stuff right now. Okay, we got the emotional aspect of it now. So now we pull in the logical standpoint, it's finding that balance. And you analyze this stuff, what's causing the anxiety, what can we do to assuage that, and then look at that. We're growing. You just leveled up right there. And I feel like it's just, when I was thinking about with Venus and Virgo, I feel that it's getting it, because one of the things about Virgo is getting in this routine. And I feel like that positive affirmations, lifting yourself up, taking a moment to breathe for a second, however that's looking, making that a repetitive motion, letting that become it. That's a version of self-care too, I feel like, with the Empress being here. So just, and however that might be looking, this could be something with, if you get in these emotions, maybe we need to go for a walk, or maybe we light some incense, or play some calming music, or maybe we maybe instead of a walk, go for a run, or maybe do like a workout real quick, kind of burn that excess energy, so that we can kind of tire that self out, so we can actually be with those energies for a second, because I remember talking with the buddy. He was saying that he gets the most, he finds his calm when he's in the shower, you know what I mean? And can be able to really think and kind of process stuff. And know that these feelings, Taurus, when they do come up, they do pass over time, because that's one of the perks of being a Cancerian, is that where, we feel a lot, and sometimes we feel it deep, but it does eventually go away. And it's so weird. Like, there could be, for example, yesterday I ranged the gamut. I had started the morning off. I was a little pissed at first. It's just kind of a lot of heat for no reason. And then there was a reason, but there's a little heat there at first. And then it moved into then I was just emotional, and then we were crying, and it was just and then we were fine. It's really it's a lot, but it does pass. And then it gives you a chance to reflect, like, what the hell just happened? But you do learn a lot about yourself. And just like how we're talking with Venus and Leo, then you're able to laugh about it. Then you find the abundance in it. And it's just a beautiful thing, Taurus. But let's get some tarot on this. Let's see what we got here, Taurus. Yep. All right, so you got the Eight of Swords upright here, and then you got the Ace of Cups, and then here's that Queen of Pentacles in reverse here. A lot of Capricorn energy, because with the Four of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, the Devil, Queen of Pentacles, I feel like we may be in for some work here, Taurus, maybe for some of you, and I feel like a lot of that is going to be mindful of being caught up in our heads, one thing with this Eight of Swords here, because you see, it's like, on the outside, everything is fine for her, but what she's seeing is chaos. And it's just like, what is, and it's not to say that that chaos isn't real. You know what I mean? That's the thing, because when our minds are in that state, we can believe anything. But here's the thing, it's what is causing that dis-ease. What is the source of that? That's where, you know, where we're blending in that head and the heart, you know what I mean? And it's finding, we might need to do a deep dive there, Scorpio energy. And it might be something that, and listen, I'm not saying like that we need to force this thing, you know, make sure, because this could be what might be translating as anxiety, might be something that might be a lot, the cause may be a lot deeper. This could be maybe something that goes back to childhood. Maybe there was some, or even like maybe might have been, maybe someone said something to us, maybe like an adult berated us, or maybe a friend betrayed us, or a lover, or something along those lines. But I feel like that, you know, not forcing it, but acknowledging the fact that there is something that is hurting there. You know what I mean? And I feel like that once we do get eyes on that, then we can start thinking of ways to de-escalate that, to start learning some coping mechanisms for ourselves. You know, some things that can, you know, some self-care things that can help raise our vibration and really kind of soothe the soul. But it is going to be, you know, it's going to be getting out of our heads first, and, you know, and really processing this. More? All right, let's do a little bit more with this Eight of Swords, Taurus. Let me get a little bit more on that. Oh, there you are. All right. Okay, Taurus, so you got Nine of Pentacles in reverse here, and then you got the Six of Cups, and then the Page of Swords upright. And I feel like with this energy, Taurus, this is something where, you know, I feel like healing takes a different amount of time for everyone. But I am getting with this energy, it's just like, I feel like don't rush this thing, you know, because the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, I do feel like, because, you know, yours is a sign, I feel like that, you know, you get that reputation of being the slowest sign of the zodiac, being a fixed earth sign. But I feel like that is because that in order for you to really utilize that sensory abilities to your advantage, you need to be slow. You need to be able to take in, because there's so much that is going on in this realm here. And I almost feel like with this Six of Cups, Taurus, this may be something where with the Six of Cups and the Page of Swords, if there's something where you have had something on your mind or something that has been bothering you, this could be maybe where, and this isn't medical advice, but maybe we're talking with a professional, but maybe even on a lower scale. This could be, and not to say that friends are lower, but this could be maybe where we're talking with the King of Swords, getting some advice, or maybe hitting up a Queen of Pentacles or a King of Wands, you know, just kind of sharing these anxieties. This is the Sun in Scorpio. And Scorpio is your opposite sign, Taurus, and they really can, they feel, where Cancerians feel a lot, we can feel deep too, but Scorpio takes it to a whole other level, you know what I mean? And those feelings and stuff, they can be intense, and I feel that it's not being afraid of facing those things, you know, where there may have been some past stuff, again, like I was saying, that may have become some sort of like weird ingrained habits or things along those lines, because it's, you know, the tricky thing would be, you know, when you have fixed energy, it's like when you do learn something, it's not to say that you can't change, but it is harder than if you do have maybe a lot of mutable energy, if you have a lot of cardinal energy or something along those lines. But I do feel that it is something where if we were patient with ourselves, put in that work, and however that looks like, that's going to eventually get you to where you're feeling like an empress. Again, really feeling confident in your energy. And I mean, you're always an empress, Taurus. I mean, especially you and Libra being ruled by her, but And I feel like, the Empress, I feel like especially in times, I feel like when there's been a lot of struggle, the Empress usually shows up for you, Taurus. I feel like that's what a lovely thing to have the Empress on you. Oh, I just got chills even just thinking about that. So revel in that, Taurus. Enjoy that, because I do feel that when we do, if we're in something or if we notice something in the future, this could lead to a lot of growth here. And this could even, I think, lead to possibly even like a paradigm shift with the Page of Swords popping up, a new way of thinking, fresh way of thinking. So, all right, I'm with it. Now, since we got Virgo here, let's talk about this Virgo energy. Syncing up with the energies nicely here. Now that I'm saying that too, I'm like, dang, got Virgo, got Capricorn, all right. But with Virgo, we got Mars in Virgo. And Mars is going to enter Virgo on the 10th of July and will be there through the 27th of August. And with this is a very efficient placement for Mars. Considering Mars is a planet of action, and Virgo really knows how to get to work. They're very detail-oriented, analytical, Mercury ruled, very organized. And this is a great energy for if you need to get a lot of stuff done right now. Getting life in order. This is a great time to kind of sit down, get a checklist. Maybe what do you want to tackle? What things do you want to focus? What growth? Like. I've been telling Cancer, we do it by the lunar cycle. So, and since you got such a tight relationship with the moon, this could be something where maybe set it along those lines. Okay, like this, for this lunar cycle, I'm going to work on maybe this habit, or then this next lunar cycle, I'm going to learn on, applying more affirmations into, I'm going to learn a new skill to replace this thing that I just removed, or, something along those lines. But because it's great for focusing on, since Virgo is associated with the 6th house, it can deal with your health and things. Great for, bringing yourself in balance, physical, mental, spiritual, however that's looking. But we do want to be mindful, especially with all this, how you've been starting off all this air energy, getting in our heads with 8 of Swords and then 10 of Swords. Got some strong Gemini cards here too, and King of Swords. This could be something where we do want to be mindful of being overly critical, because that's just one on a more negative end of Virgo's side, of shadow work for Virgo to do. They do have a tendency, because they are a sign that they're a sign of purity, and wanting to make things as perfect as possible. That can lead to just, kind of doing a lot sometimes, but it's all coming from a good place. So we just want to make sure that we're balanced. You're just trying to get to that higher octave of yourself. And with this energy, the nice thing is that this Virgo, Mars will be forming a trine with your Taurus placements, and trines are very fortunate. Trines remove obstacles out of the way. It's it's very creative flow, harmonious, very lucky energy. A lot of opportunities can come to the mix here, and I feel like that's a great place, or for great energy for that to be happening with Mars, because then when you do notice things, areas that do need changing, the roadblocks, trines are where they are easy, it can be a little intense. I just went through a Pluto transit, I'm be going through it for the next couple of years, that is forming a trine with my moon placement. And I feel like it's going to be a little less intense with Mars, but this gives you an opportunity really to make the most of taking action, and really take charge of your of areas that you want to improve in there, Taurus. But let's get an oracle on this. Oh yeah, dope. Alrighty, so you have more Capricorn. You got the first card of Capricorns, which is the Tools card. And with this card, this is a card of practical abilities, resources, has what it takes, application, build it, fix it, organization, help someone, task at hand, well prepared, equipment, get stuff done, and masculinity. And that's Virgo, that's Mars and Virgo all day. And that's pretty much what's happening. I feel like, and even on a broader scale, Taurus, if this isn't just like something where we're doing some like, you know, maybe some self-improvement and things along those lines, this could be something where we're going to work, you know, really focusing on an ability, you know, maybe harnessing something, maybe taking an opportunity to start a side hustle, or maybe you've been thinking about starting a business. Let's go ahead and get those things going. Work with this energy right now. You gotta, you're syncing up very well. So I say let's go ahead and find a way that we can start building stuff, you know, and then start getting a game plan, because like this is, I like that, how that this came up there. But I also do think, when we were talking about earlier, if we have been maybe focusing on some kind of like self-esteem things, some self-improvements and anything in that area, there are going to be times where it does feel kind of hard, where it's just like, man, do I have what it takes? And absolutely you do, Taurus, all day, every day. You're an empress, and I'll tell you that, I'm going to tell you that just indefinitely, so just kind of settle in. I mean, that's a great thing to be. So I do feel like that this energy, and especially too, you know, speaking of Virgo, once we do get into Virgo season, the planets are going to be very retrograde heavy for a little bit. You know, we are going to be in a more kind of like reflective, like kind of hermit state right now. And again, this is an energy too, I feel like, to be thinking about. If there are any areas that you don't feel prepared in, what resources can we tap into, or maybe learn, or something along those lines, Queen of Pentacles, to get ourselves into this, where we feel like our foundation is solid here. Yeah. There's something here too, just kind of thinking, and that's interesting, that's the first that really popped out at me, the masculinity part of it. There's something here, if there's any sort of like, in this, and again, you know, this doesn't necessarily have to be a man per se, but I feel like because, you know, Empress can be in her masculine energy too. I feel like that if there's any sort of like toxic, kind of like masculine energy in there, like when I mean toxic, like aggressive, or I'm not sure what that is, Taurus. Let me get a little bit on that, because that's actually really interesting. Before we get more on this oracle, let me get a little bit more on this devil here. And this could be like maybe even like a boss, or like a friend, maybe a family member, because, you know, Capricorn is, you know, they're the fathers of the zodiac. So, but let me get a little bit more on that. Interesting, huh? And here's Mars. So you have the Tower and the Lovers in reverse here, and then you got the Three of Cups upright. If we find ourselves in any sort of like weird relationship, you know, I don't even just think this has to be with just love in general, but I almost feel like with this energy that if we do have some sort of someone who's maybe been like just kind of just maybe overbearing, you know, again, not a gender specific reading, but just anyone who's just been very just masculine heavy, you know, even with Mars is very, there's something here about maybe having a conversation with this person, about maybe setting some type of boundaries or something along those lines. Very interesting there. But, okay, we're putting those back. Okay, I guess we're putting those back, Taurus. But just something to think about there. Yeah, that was an interesting little energy there, Taurus. But let's get some tarot on this, on the tools now. Interesting. All right, Taurus. So we have the Nine of Pentacles upright here, and then we have the Star card in reverse. And so, yeah, I feel like honestly, this is going to be a great energy for you to be, I love this. Ooh, yeah. So I really do feel like that, especially double confirmation here, because the Nine of Pentacles, this is Venus in Virgo. And the fact that we're talking about Virgo right now, I feel like that this is going to be a great energy for you, Taurus, to really kind of be focusing on yourself right now. And you can do that even in a relationship as well. But I do feel like that there's something here about, for some of you, you know, if you were resonating with this esteem thing, or if there's any sort of like healing that we've noticed that we need to get done or something along those lines, the Star card can be a card of healing, you know, needing to maybe reach out to someone as far as like talk to about these things, or just doing some meditation or something along those lines. But this energy here, the Nine of Pentacles, is working towards a pre-Empress energy here, in which you don't have to work that hard. You're already there. But I feel like that there's something here that maybe for you, it's strengthening that Empress energy, you know, and really getting a stronger foundation in your, I feel like just like confidence and yeah, I feel like there's something here just, about really kind of, I think the focus for you over maybe this next, over this, you know, this Cancer season is really, finding a ways that you're making sure that you feel stable. And because the Empress is more than just self-care, you know, because she rules you, she is about her security and her abundance in things, in any aspect of her life. If she's not feeling fulfilled in something, then that's where the focus is going to be. But I really feel like that there's something here too. Now I said that with the Ace of Cups is listening to your heart, Taurus. There's something that's, I feel like, trying to get your attention here. And I feel like that once we get eyes on that, then the real work is going to get started here, you know? But alrighty. Very interesting there, Taurus. Now let's talk about Pisces. Because we have Saturn that's in Pisces, and then we have Neptune in Pisces. And Saturn's been retrograde in Pisces for a little bit, and Neptune's going to join him. She was feeling a little left out there. She wanted to join the retrograde dance. But Saturn's going to be retrograde in Pisces until the 4th of November. And with this energy, it's asking us, you know, what have we been doing with our lives? You know, as far as like, have we been working towards our dreams and things? You know, are there any areas where have we been really living up to our potential? And I don't mean just in like business, you know, just like, is this where you've seen life taking you right now? And if not, how can we make those dreams come true? Whether that's, you know, getting to maybe you got you know, there's a certain area that you're wanting to live in long term, or maybe there is a certain job that you're wanting to, or maybe we're trying to find love, or finding that ideal partner or something along those lines. Saturn is asking you, you know, what have we been doing? It's like a cosmic interrogation. But another thing with this energy as well, just because you got a lot of like just change here, and, you know, getting into the hermit energy and stuff, Pisces is very spiritual energy, very intuitive, but psychic even. And this is about getting in touch with your spirituality, Taurus. And I feel like this is going to be where it's important for all of us. I feel like, you know, you really could benefit from this, Taurus, because I feel like you don't get represented by the Hierophant for no reason. You know, the Hierophant is a very spiritual card, the divine counterpart to the High Priestess. So I feel like that there's something that, if there's just any areas that we're not feeling like an Empress, or we haven't reached that Empress dream that we've wanted to yet, whatever that's looking like. Maybe we're wanting more time for creativity. Maybe you're wanting to do more time to do some tool, I don't know, like build stuff or something. But doing those things, that's what's, and I feel like that's a really cool placement for Saturn to be over these next 3 years, you know, to be putting us into a place where it's just like, all right, are you creating again? Are you happy? Be happy. That's pretty much what Saturn wants from us. And then you couple that with Neptune retrograding in Pisces. And this, I'm actually really excited for this. this is more kind of an intuitive feeling, but I'm really excited about this energy because Neptune's going to be retrograding on the 30th of June and will be retrograde until the 6th of December. And this is a really powerful time for introspection, Taurus, and self-discovery, because where Neptune is a planet of mysteries and, you know, hidden things and, you know, keeping stuff locked away, with her going retrograde, it's like the veil is being lifted and all those dreams, desires, and things, now I feel like it's going to feel more accessible, you know, to really tap into whatever your heart's desire is and make that potential shine, you know what I mean? But this also is a great, you know, energy too, again, to connect with your inner self and really establish that inner wisdom, you know, King of Swords energy. Just something about that energy I feel like is going to be a really great time for all of us, Taurus, and with how everything is just lining up right now. But let's get an oracle on this. Thank you. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you have the 5th card of Taurus here. Oh, so Taurus. 5th card of Cancer here, which is the Urn card. And with this card, this is a card of loss, death, forfeiture, grief, closed up, bereaved, breakup, poverty, collapse, dispossess, remove, dismantle, deprive, absence, change of state, setback. It's over and done. And I will say that with this card, the first thing that did kind of stick out to me is the death part of it. But I feel like that is because you got the death card here as well. You know, and I feel like that there is a need for, because things are changing, you know, and it can feel that everything is collapsing right now. And it's just like, because where the energies are at, we're going to need a lot of Empress energy because because how you had the Tower earlier that popped up for the Devil. The Tower, Mars, destroys everything in the sense of like, he removes things that are no longer serving a purpose with the Tower moment and allows us to take action so that we can tap into that Empress energy and bring more beauty, sow more seeds of love and creativity and healing and potential in things. And let's put you center stage here, Taurus. And I feel like that if we get stuck in just the suck of it, you know, get really kind of tied up in the 10 of Swords and like 8 of Swords energy, Devil energy, and not deal with these things, it's not to say that abundance will never come to you, Taurus, but I feel like you always get what is meant for you. You know, it's abundance-wise, but it's one of those things I feel like it just slows the process down a little bit. And if we have maybe experienced a loss here as of late, or you know, here recently, I'm sending big Empress vibes, absolutely, and hoping, you know, healing and love and light, and, you know, if I could, just all the hugs. But that's something too, where maybe if we're experiencing maybe we lost someone close to us, or maybe we even had lost like a job, or maybe we are feeling in a state of, because this gives me a combination. This energy is like 5 of Pentacles, you know, the Death card. You know, all that stuff. It's like it is a lot of space that's been left void now. But the nice thing I feel like about that is, you know, when we do experiencing these losses and things where, yes, something has been maybe removed from our lives, you know, that have been, there's a space there that needs to be filled. And the nice thing is we can fill it with Ace of Cups. You know what I mean? We can feel this thing, and I feel like this is something too where, as it makes sense, you don't have to do it by yourself. How we were talking about that earlier. You know, you got Aquarius here. If we've been feeling like the healing has been kind of tough for us, you know, I feel like reaching out. And even if we don't, like, this could be something where you don't even have to talk about it, Taurus. It could just be being in the company of someone. Sometimes that can just be enough. You know, just having that emotional security. I feel like with this Cancerian energy. So, because because you and Cancer do share that, like that security aspect. You know, I really feel like that's something that, you know, for a lot, we do share that very, and I know like everyone does, but I feel it's a little different. And change is hard, you know. It is like, I you know, I get it, you know. It's not so, even when I'm like talking about this stuff, it's a reminder for all of us that it happens at different times, but it's not meant to just keep us dismantled or deprive us or anything. It really is to help us strengthen and to rise up and to, yeah, again, to come into this, yeah, to us just a stronger version of ourselves. But let's get some tarot on this. But I do say, whatever this is, you know, if we are experiencing something, or maybe something happens in the future, you know, it's try not to get to this place where we do, you know, where everyone grieves differently. Absolutely. We do, and I don't mean just in death and loss. I mean, this could be in again, we lost our job, maybe poverty, and we could, you know, and not that I'm putting this out there, but it's just like, you know, maybe this is like a home type of thing, you know, maybe whatever, maybe car got repossessed, like whatever that's looking like, you know. We want to be mindful of not getting lost in any sort of like escapism, stuff like that. Try to be as present with the situation as possible, because ignoring it is not going to make it go away. It's just going to fester, and then it's going to turn into a Tower moment, and then it turns to a Hanged Man situation. It's not to get you scared, but it's just to get you, you know what happens when we don't face things over time, you know, it does, but let's get your tarot. Oh, interesting. All right, so we have the Nine of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Five of Cups upright here. And, you know, I feel like with this Five of Cups here, especially whatever, if we, you know, again, if we're experiencing something, or if we go through something in the future, this is Mars in Scorpio, the Five of Cups. And sometimes we can get to a place, I feel like, when these intense things happen, that we do just want to stop and just kind of like, where, yeah, we know that change needs to happen, but it's just like, I don't hear you right now. You know what I mean? If we do find ourselves at this place, I feel like there's really paying attention to how that makes you feel, you know, because this is, with the Nine of Cups, this is like being a magnet, you know, and when we're in those intense emotions, like I was saying, if we're just focusing on that just the negative aspect of it, then that's just what's going to keep playing out until we change the narrative in our heads. And I know that that's hard, Taurus, but it's something where we just focus one day at a time. You know, what can we do? What are some loving things that we can do with ourselves? You know, maybe it is we're getting a little more sleep at the moment. You know, maybe that's that might be one thing. Or I just feel like that there's something here, just like not about ignoring this, or you know, like how we were talking about earlier with like the waxing and waning of things. I feel like that remembering that this state isn't permanent, you know, and that these things do get easier. You know, there's an album cover that I really like, of this artist, Sia, one of her earlier ones, and it's Healing is Difficult, and she's got the title, and it looks like a scar on her face. And I do like that, because sometimes these situations can be tough, these wounds can sometimes run deep. But when we do get to a place where we start working towards that happiness, and we start feeling maybe even not happy, but at least a sense of normalcy, we can see where that scar can be a reminder of, and that void, that space can be a reminder of, yeah, I was at a really low point at one point in time, but you're able to rise up again, always, always. And it's just It's being patient with yourself, Taurus, and remembering that we're just in the middle of a cycle right now, and there's a new, you're leveling up in a different kind of way, and may not be one of the most ideal ones, you know what I mean? But there is, even in this, there's an abundance in there. But, alrighty, Taurus. Let's get more tea and then get to your last card here. It's Capricorn. Since Capricorn's, really should have moved Pluto up to the front since Capricorn's been coming out here all day. Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto's going to been retrograde for a little bit, and will be retrograde until the 10th of October, and then we'll be in Capricorn pretty much up until Aquarius season. And with Pluto being retrograde at the moment, this is asking ourselves, this is very much Nine of Pentacles all day. What can we do to feel more stable in our lives, you know? And what can we do to bring more structure? Because like I was saying, Capricorn, they're the achievers of the zodiac. They're a sign of structure, ambitions, success. You know, they're associated with the 10th house, so this could be something where maybe we too were thinking about our careers, but it's just asking you, what can we do to feel like that when we look in the mirror, that we're proud of what we're doing, you know, that we're really embodying our Empress energy, however that's looking. And if there are things that are hindering that, how can we let devil moments and things, what can we do to start letting that stuff go? Because with Saturn, I feel like especially with Saturn and Pluto going retrograde, you know, I feel like it could potentially be a bit of an intense energy for us just on an individual level, but also globally as well. Because when you deal with the more personal planets kind of affect us more on an individual level, but the outer planets, you know, they really, when they shift, they're generational type of energies. When we talk about Jupiter on down, and Capricorn also deals with authorities as well, so there's probably going to be some changes in the government, you know, and I mean, not just like, we're not talking like tower change. When Pluto does it, Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. So where Mars is just like, you know, kind of destroying foundation. Sure, Mars is aggressive. Pluto really don't give a crap. He's just like, move. Like it's intense. Like even when you have like a beneficial energy, Pluto still, like I was saying with that, how I have like I was going through that Pluto transit with my moon. The situation was easy, sure, like how it went about, and the nugget of the Empress abundance that I got from that was it got me some stuff to think about for sure. Very beneficial, but still intense all the same. It was just very, very interesting. So we are in for a very transformative time, I feel, over these next couple years. So be thinking about that stuff, Taurus. And then also, this is just like Virgo energy. This is going to be forming, and Pluto's going to retrograde up to the 27th degree. So it's going to depend. You might need to know where exactly your Taurus placements are at to know how exact this is hitting. But Pluto's going to retrograde up to the 27th degree of Capricorn before it goes direct back. So if you got Taurus in the later half of Taurus, you know, pay attention to that, because that's going to be forming a trine with those placements as well. But let's get an oracle on this. Oh, interesting. Wow. So you got the 7th card of Scorpios here, which is the Universe card. And with this card, this is a card of source, infinite, unending, enduring, eternal, creation, awakening, interconnected, heaven, higher perspective, the big picture, all that is, creative force, and law of one. And man, this is, I feel, interesting. I feel like with this card popping up here, Taurus, I feel like that whatever this is, this growth that you might be And it makes sense, I feel like, with Jupiter entering your sign, because I was like, you've been getting a lot of growth here as of late, and it's just like these really big pockets of just like, it's interesting how your energy's been operating here lately. But I do feel like a lot of that is a lot of this Jupiter influence that's, you know, kind of entering your sign right now. And I do feel like that you all are getting to this place of seeing things from a higher perspective, you know, and understanding where the growth needs to, where the source of maybe this growth and this change needs to happen here. This gives me really just like a, yeah, really tune into yourself. I feel like, Taurus, you know, it was one thing when I was talking about that relationship earlier, you know, how you're being a sign of the senses, Cancer being a sign of emotions, you know, how we feel to that degree. There is something here, Taurus, I feel that is going to really help. There's like literally like some kind of like awakening here, that like the world is whatever you want to create it to be, or, you know, it's whatever, which is, I love that your ruler is pregnant with the world here, because this is, you can, I feel like that you can, yeah, like there's something here, like you can bring a, this is big, Taurus, I'm not sure what that, and I'm not trying to be like clickbaity or anything like that, but it's more so just like, let me get some tarot on this to get some, so maybe it can help me find the words. Okay. All right, Taurus, let's see what we got here. All righty, so we have the King of Pentacles and the Two of Cups in reverse here. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords upright. And then let's switch back over, Taurus. I really feel like this energy is asking you, what does your big picture look like? You know, where do you see this, where do you feel that the energies are trying to lead you right now? I feel like that there's something here about checking in, I feel like, one, with your higher self, because you know, with the Two of Cups, if we feel that something hasn't been, because this is Venus in Virgo, or excuse me, Venus in Cancer. And I feel that if there's something that doesn't feel stable to you, or if you feel like that you're not on the right, or if you feel like that you, I don't know, it's like if you want to be further along on your journey, or maybe even just like, maybe it's the pressures of what we can achieve, you know, because there are so many opportunities. It's just like, what do we really want? And I really feel like that's going to be a question that's going to need to be, we're going to need to meditate on that, Taurus, if we're not quite sure. And I don't feel like, if we aren't sure where we want to, what the big picture is, I feel like that's fine. Don't feel like you have to rush this thing. Be thinking about this stuff. It's all in divine timing and all divine will. You know, higher self has got your back. And I feel like when we are able to find maybe this, whatever this passion is, or maybe this calling, or whatever that is, Taurus, I do feel like that it's going to be off to the races. But the thing I feel with the Knight of Swords, this is he's one of Aquarius's cards. He rules the first two decans of Aquarius and the last of Capricorn. In Aquarius energy, and that kind of makes sense with the Star card, because where Aquarius have brilliant minds, they can see the big picture in everything, and so it's like, there's like, where do I start? You know, it's just like, it literally is like an overwhelming of it's overwhelming when we think about the abundance. I was just telling them that last week, but I feel like it's getting out of your head and really trusting your heart and seeing where that wants to lead you. You know, Ace of Cups all day. Pay attention to that, and it may not make sense at first, but follow it and see what opportunities come up for you, you know, because there's something here that was because usually when the universe pops up, I've had that come a couple of times, and usually the energy flows real smooth, but that one was just like it was like oh man, the world is mine, you know, in a sense. Like what do I want to bring here? You know, what does that legacy look like? So sit with that. Think about what you want to share with the world, what your heart is saying, and I feel like everything is going to just kind of start falling into place really nicely. You know, just what's your Nine of Cups? What makes you, and I like that. First Nine of Cups, feel it, and then Nine of Pentacles. Put it to work. And that's how you get that 10 of Pentacles. That's how you get to that Empress energy. So, all right, Taurus, I think I'm going to leave that there. And I hope that made sense. That was, I like that. That was an interesting reading there. But if anything resonated with you, if you like that, give it a thumbs up. And share this, especially if we've been in a place of worry or if we're thinking about these big things. Because, I mean, the universe, even like the wheel of karma, that can cause anybody any kind of anxiety. Absolutely. So share this. And then if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I have these videos each week. And then maybe something, a little tool in your tool belt there. I'm on this meditation app, Insight Timer. I've been on there for years, and I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group to post like positive affirmations, encouraging messages. And definitely as the group grows, definitely want to do schedule some meditation groups with everybody. You know, do like self-care with the Empress, find some like healing music there, or, you know, overcoming addictions with the devil or something along those lines. But yeah, definitely check that out, Taurus. All that information is in the description box. And then last little bit, if you have any Cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, wherever, Taurus, come on over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. You're always welcome. And I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, your divine counterpart, the High Priestess. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card here, so I can get you out of here. Interesting. All right, so you got the Temperance card in reverse here. Well, I'm getting your Oracle card. With the Temperance, again, another card of balance, a card of harmony, you know, a card of expansion, Sagittarius energy, and learning a lot about ourselves. You know, Sagittarius, they're a sign of higher learning. They're Jupiter ruled, higher learning, growth, is spirituality. If there are any areas that aren't feeling in balance, or you feel that are holding you back, or, you know, whether it be self-esteem, you know, devil territory covers a lot of stuff. But if we go, because the thing is, after the Temperance card is the devil. And if we haven't found that balance yet, then we're just going to keep repeating these cycles. So we want to be mindful of that, Taurus. Oh, how brilliant. You remember when we were talking about the moon waxing and waning? Lunar shenanigans. You got the waxing and waning card in reverse here. And it's just like we've been talking about. It's like how we were talking about at the beginning. This life is just nothing but waxing and waning, you know? But luckily, Taurus, you do got you are in good graces with the moon. And I mean, the fact that you got the moon and the Empress on your side, it's going to take a little practice, because it is a lot, you know, feeling this stuff out, and especially being in Cancerian season. It's going to be a lot, you know, because I was just talking with someone about this. It's just like I feel like I'm in Aquarius, oddly enough. Well, not oddly, because they're all about, they're interesting thinkers. But we were talking about that, like logic versus emotions. And we were talking about keeping emotions in check. And I was just like, keeping them in check is a weird word, because your logic doesn't make sense. You know, it's a balance, you know, where I do agree. There's such thing as too much emotion, but there is a such thing as too much logic as well. Because if there wasn't any space for emotions, they wouldn't be here. There would be no water energy. And that's, that's weird. So, but I do feel like it's remembering that life is just, it waxes and wanes, and it gets easier and a little bit easier and a little bit easier as we go along this journey, Taurus, and it's going to make us resilient. It's going to keep us strengthened. So just remember that when we're going forward on this journey. But all right, let me go ahead. Ooh, kept you long here, Taurus. Let me go ahead and get you out of here. So you stay safe out there with these, with everything that's going down, just stay safe out there. And you definitely, with the Empress popping up here, raise your vibration to the roof. And even if she wasn't here, you raise your vibration to the roof, Taurus. Raise it to Venus, so that she knows, because she does. She always sees, I feel like she does pop out, especially during these like spiritual ones. The Empress has always got your back. So let her know that you see her too. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.